Welcome back to All This Math. This is Professor Parker, and make sure you are subscribed to the All This Math YouTube channel. Make sure that you like this video. Make sure that you share this video with at least one person. All right. Now, today's lesson, we're going to talk about Baltimore speed traps. All right, we're going to talk about the math and the algebra involved with Baltimore speed traps. All right, so the summer of 2024, I was down in Baltimore for most of the summer. I was teaching and running a summer program on hystematics. Hystematics is a teaching framework that I developed and have been developing, where I use Black history to teach mathematics, and I use mathematics to teach Black history. All right, vice versa. It was down at Connections School, right off of Gwynns Falls on Dukeland Street. And one morning, I was doing too much. I was speeding, wasn't paying attention. I got caught in the speed trap. The speed camera caught me, right? I got home back to Philly, saw this citation in the mail. I was like, damn, they got me. So I said, you know what? I can take advantage of this opportunity, right? Take advantage of this. We can create some math problems, right? Right? Turn lemons into lemonade, you know? So I got 3 questions up here. The rule or the law, which says that you get a ticket or a citation after you've been clocked driving at least 12 miles above the speed limit, at least 12 miles per hour, 12 miles per hour above the speed limit. How do we represent that as an inequality? That's something that your child, if you're a parent watching this, your child gonna have to do that in Algebra 1. Your child is taking Algebra 1, they're gonna have to do that. Your child is gonna take the MCAT for algebra, or the 8th grade, probably 7th or 8th grade MCAT, they're gonna see that, right? They have to be familiar with inequalities. So you can take everyday regular experiences and practice with inequalities and become familiar with them. All right, next thing. What speed gets you a ticket if you're in a 35-mile-per-hour zone? Next thing. What percent is the service fee? Because I went online and paid it, but so they banged me for $40, right? It's a $40 ticket, but I didn't pay $40. I paid $40.96. So that's not that extra 96 cents. That's the service fee. So we can practice figuring out percentages off that service fee. All right, so look, we're gonna represent this as an inequality. So what does it say? Let me read it. Please take notice that the vehicle described and pictured herein was detected and recorded by a speed monitoring system exceeding the posted speed limit by at least 12 miles per hour in violation of Title 21, Subtitle 8 of the Transportation Article. So what does it say? Exceeding the posted speed limit by at least 12 miles per hour in violation. I was out of pocket. All right. I didn't crash out, but I was out of pocket, right? At least 12 miles per hour. So in math and in algebra, when you see at least, that represents an inequality. So let's write the inequality. I'm going to use this black marker. All right. So at least means greater than or equal to. Greater than or equal to. So put this in your notes. At least, read it from left to right, means this symbol. Greater than or equal to. Yeah, greater than or equal to. Because it could be, you could be 12 miles per hour over the limit, or you could be more than 12. This means greater than. When the open part faces to the left, that means greater than, right? It could be 13 miles per hour, 14, 15, 20 miles per hour. All right, the line means also, or it could be equal to 12 miles per hour. All right, so let's use the variable y to represent, this marker don't got too much life on it. Y to represent the actual speed, right? And then you're at least 12 miles over the speed limit. So we're going to use X to represent the actual speed limit. All right. So that's the math that you do. So anybody that knows this law, anybody that got one of these citations before, you probably might remember like, yo, if I'm 12 miles over, so you don't got to be going, if the speed limit is 25, you don't got to drive exactly 25, right? But you can't be more than 12, you can't be 12 miles or more over 25. So in our heads, you probably just be like, all right, well, what's 25 plus 12? 25 plus 12, that's 37. So I know once my speedometer, pay attention to your speedometer, once your speedometer hit 37, you know you're about to you're gonna get a ticket if you ride past that camera. All right. So as long as you stay under 37, you cool. All right. That's what this says. That's what this says. So notice how like a lot of people would be out here like anybody that just did that mental calculation that I just described verbally. A lot of people can do that, but then they'd be like, "But I hate math. I'm not good at math. I can't do algebra. I don't understand it." You do understand algebra. You just did algebra by saying 12 plus 25 is 37, right? You did algebra. The only thing with algebra is setting it up in the language of math or in the language of algebra. That's the only difference. A lot of us don't know how to write and read and speak in the language of algebra and how to create inequalities and also to create equations. This says y is greater than or equal to 12 plus x, where y is your speed and x is your speed limit. All right, so we got variables that represent things. Now, what's the point of the variables? Because we could just plug numbers in. So that means, like, let's say the speed limit was 40, right? The speed limit is 40. I do 40 plus 12, that gives me 52. That means if my speed is greater than or equal to 52, and I ride past the speed camera, they're going to bang me. They're going to bang me, right? But this is the language of algebra. It's the language of algebra. But a lot of people that can't write this or don't think they can write this, they still know how to do 40 plus 12 and get 52 and then be like, all right, I'm going to chill. Like when I see that speed camera, if the speed limit is 40 on all them little different spots around Baltimore, right? They're going to be like, all right, let me chill when I get up here. Let me make sure I'm going less than, let me make sure I add 12 to the speed limit. And then I make sure I go less than that. So I can avoid that $40 ticket in the mail or whatever. You know, so don't sell yourself short thinking you can't do algebra. You can't do algebra. You can't do math. You're not a math person. You're not good at math. Like a lot of that is like, it's just, it's self-deprecating. It's cap. And it just, you know, it holds you back. Like you're holding yourself back from really learning this subject. And if y'all got children, it rubs off on your children. We be saying that stuff. You be saying that stuff out loud. Your children hear it. And then they think it's cool to not be good at math. And then the unfortunate thing is you're not really as bad at math as you might think you are. So anyway, this will be the answer to the letter A, represent as an inequality. Rep, short for represent. Represent as an inequality. Y is greater than or equal to 12 plus x. Or I could have wrote, this marker's almost dead. I'll have to get another black marker. I could have wrote it as y is greater than or equal to x plus 12. Either way, commutative property. You can put the x first or put the x last. It don't really make a difference. So anyway, that's A, right? Then B, what speed gets you a ticket in a 35 mile per hour zone? So if I just use my inequality, again, X is the speed limit. So if it's a 35 mile per hour speed limit, then what's going to happen is I do 35 plus 12. So Y is greater than or equal to 35 plus 12. So that means Y would be greater than or equal to 35 plus 12. You got to know how to do addition mentally. No need for a calculator, right? It's going to be 47. So if they catch you going 47, if you ride past that red light, ride past that speed camera at 47 or more, if you're at 46, you're good. If you're at 46, you're good. But once you're at 47 and you ride past that camera, they got you. You know, so don't do that. So do yourself a favor. So Y is greater than or equal to 47. So if your speed is greater than or equal to 47, you are getting a ticket. You are getting a ticket. So you see how we use algebra to save money? Right? We use algebra to save money. All right? Now, I paid the ticket because they caught me out here, right? I paid the ticket and it cost me, it was a $40 ticket. And when I went online to pay it, because of the convenience, they charged me an extra 96 cents. Now, my question is, what percentage is that extra 96 cents? Because I'm curious as to like what type of fee structure they got going on. I just be curious about things like that. So my question is, this is the question. And again, in algebra, we learn and practice asking certain questions and then being able to find the answers to those questions. So we ask certain questions and then we find the answers to those questions. So we got, my question is, 96 cents is what percentage of 40? 96 cents is what percentage of $40? That's my question. So I'm going to translate this into an equation. There's many ways to answer this. Many ways to answer that. Many ways to set that up and answer it. I can set it up as a proportion. I can translate it into an equation. It's some other ways to do it. I'm gonna just translate it into an equation. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna keep this 96 cent at 0.96. In the language of math, the word is means equal sign. The word what represents an unknown. So I'm gonna use a variable for that. Let's use y, right? Percentage means you multiply by 0.01. Whenever you see the percentage symbol or the word percentage, that means something is being multiplied by 0.01. When you see the word of, that means multiply. So I'm gonna write another set of parentheses, because parentheses show multiplication when there's no symbol in between. When there's no plus sign, minus sign, division sign, or multiplication sign, that means multiplication. There's no symbol in between these parentheses. That means multiplication. And then 40 is just 40. 40 stays the same, right? Just like 0.96 stays the same. 0.96 stays the same, 40 stays the same. Just like in Spanish. If we translate from Spanish to English, the word no, how you say no in Spanish? No, N-O. It's the same word. All right, so this is our equation. So we're going to do a little bit of algebra. 0.96 is equal to multiply these two numbers together. 0.01 times 40. Basically what you're doing by doing that, you're just moving the invisible decimal point in the 40 to the left 2 spaces, because this is 2 spaces from beyond the 1. So that's going to be 0.4. Don't forget the y, put the y next to it, right? Just like it was up here, right? So then we're going to isolate the y by getting rid of 0.4. So you divide by 0.4 on the right, keep it balanced, divide by 0.4 on the left. Cancel them out, boom, boom, that equals y. Now 0.96 divided by 0.4, so we want to know how many 0.4s can fit into 0.96. How many 0.4s can fit into 0.96? So that's 0.40, that's actually 0.40. How many 0.40s can fit into 0.96? Let me see. If I was doing 96 divided by 4, I'm trying to do this mentally. If I was doing 96 divided by 4, I would break 96 down into 80 and 16, because 80 plus 16 is 96, and 80 is a multiple of 4, and 16 is a multiple of 4. So I would do 80 divided by 4, which is 20, and then 16 divided by 4, which is 4. So that would be 24. So 96 divided by 4 would be 24. But we're doing 0.96 divided by 0.4. So that's really how many 0.4s can fit into 0.96. Or another way to think about it is this. How many times can 40 cents, because 0.4 is the same thing as 0.40. How many times can 40 cents fit into 96 cents, right? How many times can 40 cents fit into 96 cents? I already know that 96 divided by 4 is 24. It's not going to be 24 times. It'll be, you got to move the decimal point over 1 space. It'll be 2.4 times, which makes sense because what's 40 cents times 2? 80 cents. And then the leftover is 16 cents. So that's 0.4, that's 4/10 of 40, which makes sense, right? So wait, did I say that right? 16 cents is 4/10 of 40. Is that 4/10 of 40? Yeah, it is. Because 1/10 of 40 is 4, and then 4/10, 4 of those is 16. Yeah. All right, so yeah, so 2.4. So what we have found is that they charge a 2.4% service charge. Now we might look at that as, oh, it's just 96 cents, and then I say it's barely $1. It's not even $1. It's not a big deal. Don't think of it in terms of the dollar amount. Think of it in terms of the percentage amount. 2.4%. So imagine they banging everybody for 2.4%. If your ticket was $100, then they still getting 2.4%. If it's a $100 ticket, then they're getting $2.40, right? The company that handles the online payments, right? So always think about percentages. And also we need to understand, as people, we just need to understand and be very familiar with percentages and how to navigate around, you know, percentages anyway, right? So calculate percentages whenever possible. So we did a couple things. So look, I got a ticket in the mail. Fortunately for me, I had the resources to be able to pay it. You know, that's a blessing. I'm thankful for that. Thankful for the situation, to be able to pay it off and not have it, you know, cause me problems later on. But yeah, we represent as an inequality. And again, see, this the stuff that your children will see on the standardized test. They give you a scenario and tell you to represent it as an inequality, right? Y is greater than or equal to 12 plus X, where X would be the speed limit and Y would be your speed that you're driving in your car. All right. And then from that, let me ask you this. Why does, when I ask you this, tell you this, I'm going to tell you why this is helpful to be able to do. Because now you have basically a formula. And now that you got a formula, you take that formula, and with that formula, you can answer questions. Because it says, what speed gets you a ticket in a 35-mile-per-hour zone? Now, a lot of people just be like, man, I don't need algebra to do that. I would just do 35 plus 12. You're right, you would do 35 plus 12. But that's all this is doing. 35 plus 12. Is y is greater than or equal to 35 plus 12. So y is greater than or equal to 47. So, like I said earlier in this video, you already doing algebra. A lot of people just be out here acting like, no, algebra too hard. It's so hard. It's unnecessary. I don't need to know that. You're doing it anyway. Our brains are wired algebraically as human beings. We're already doing algebra. Anytime you solve for an unknown number, you figure out an unknown number. You're doing algebra. Don't let the language and the words and your school experience, like, you know, have you all messed up thinking that you're not doing what you're doing anyway. You're doing algebra. Whenever you figure out a missing value, a missing number, you're doing algebra. Trust and believe, right? I'm not lying. I'm dead. I'm dead up. Like, you're doing algebra. So right here, so y is greater than or equal to 47. It's really just an issue of putting your work and your calculations and your mental work into the language of algebra. Math itself is a language. Treat it like a language. Embrace it as if it is a language, right? So, and then for letter C, like we just did, what percent is the service fee for payment? And these are good things to practice. So notice, like, I got a ticket in the mail, right? Most people take the ticket, maybe rip it up, maybe pay it, maybe don't. But that's like having a textbook. Like, it's so many things that we come in contact with on a regular basis that we can use as like miniature math textbooks, right? All that math that I came up with just from a ticket in the mail. And that's a way to practice. So next time you get a ticket in the mail, you can practice with your kids, your grandkids, your niece, your nephew, whoever, right? Look what we just did. This is the stuff your kids are going to see in school. Unfortunately, a lot of times when they get to school, they've never seen it before. So my hope and my goal with the All This Math YouTube channel and with the other resources, the books that I've created and everything, putting them out, doing parent workshops and all that, I want you to be able to be empowered to help expose your children to this stuff before they even get to school. Before they get to school, they should be exposed to this. So when they get to school, they'll just be practicing what you already taught them, or what you already exposed them to, or what they saw on my YouTube channel, right? They can go to school and practice stuff that they already have been exposed to or already have learned, but you got to put the work in, right? A lot of people are bad at math just because they don't do math. If you do math, you're going to be good at math. It's that simple. A lot of people are bad at math because they don't do math. Of course you're going to be bad at math. If you don't play sports, you're going to be bad at sports. If you don't play basketball, you're going to be bad because you don't play. You don't play football, how you going to be good at football if you don't play football? Math is the same way. Math ain't no different. If you do it, you're going to get good at it. Just do practice, like anything else. But all right, hopefully I don't get caught on no speed traps no more. But if I do, I'm gonna make another video. I'll see y'all later. Peace.